Hi, my name is JJ Asghar, and I'm a developer advocate for IBM. I have the privilege of being able to tell the people about how the power of AI can change their lives and what you can and frankly, what you can't do right now. And I look forward to teaching you a little bit more. The LEAP conference is one of the largest technology conferences in the Middle East. It's in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, where people from all over the world, some of the highest CEOs, including my own, Arvind Krishna, will be there to talk about the future of technology and how we are moving towards this. I will be teaching a workshop to be able to have people understand AI as a whole. I'm going to LEAP because I have the privilege to be able to teach and educate our audience that comes to the IBM booth about AI and the power of AI using a trusted AI system like Watson X to be able to figure out something useful. My two labs, I'll be running a lab each day, but there'll be one of two, which is a prompt engineering lab and a generative AI lab, where my goal is within 15 to 20 minutes of starting it, you will walk out of it with enough knowledge to ask the right questions and see how it starts fitting into your workflow. We aren't going to revolutionize your understanding of AI in that time period, but what you will come out of is a better understanding of what it can do in a trusted way, so you can start thinking about how you can leverage it yourself. Well, a great question is, what is generative AI as a whole? The challenge is that the normies of the world found this competitor out there that starts with chat, ends with GPT. And a lot of people are starting to recognize it. It's the revolutionary of what a calculator was for us doing math, right? And students are starting to ask it to do essays and writing sonnets for them, or hip hop songs, or whatever you're looking for, right? The challenge, though, is that the way that software is implemented is it takes a bunch of data that we don't know where the data's come from, and it crunches through it and tries to guess what you are looking for through a massive data sets. This is an untrusted AI system, and it gets trained on the same questions over and over and over again. Generative AI from IBM's standpoint, using a trusted AI system, is that we actually can tell you where all our major data sets are, that our models, the brain, if you will, of AI comes back and tells you what it comes from. That's really important for the way our copyright law works, the way our patent law works, the way attribution is done. It really depends. For enterprises, it's really, really important to know that you are not taking things illegally. Frankly speaking, until our competitors show us how the models are created, we can never fully trust that they have not taken the code or the data from the internet and just churned through it. IBM, on the other hand, we will give you that data set if you go down our path, which we will be able to say from the banks of the world, the governments of the world, the airlines of the world, that the AI they are using is legal and completely safe to use to build off of for their needs. Watson X is the only trusted AI solution in the world right now that is supported by a Fortune 50 company that has the resources to make sure that the major institutions of the world and the way the world runs will be able to adopt AI in a legal, safe manner to be able to build more technology things off of it. So what is a no-code, low-code application, and how are you building a chatbot off of it? In order for you to truly grasp the power of Watson X, you need something useful. But the challenge is that there's a lot of things around it you have to understand first. The low-code, no-code challenge, or our lab that we're doing, leveraging Watson X underneath it, will give you the ability to put a very simple chatbot on a website with just a little bit of JavaScript. And you use something called Watson Assistant that walks you through building, frankly, an if-then workflow to ask some questions. Now, it's not going to be revolutionary. It's very simple to do. But the idea is that it gives you the ability to talk directly to Watson X, so you can ask it the human-like questions So when it responds to you, you train the model just a little bit to say, hey, I need to pay this bill. Or I put another question of, yo, I need to give you money, and things like that, where you can understand that those are the questions humans will ask. So then it needs to go down this path inside to give you the right answer. This is very powerful and a very basic concept that you understand that you are actually training Watson X to respond to the questions you are asking for. I know I live in Austin, Texas. I say y'all quite a bit. I even write y'all down. There are people in the other parts of the world that say you all. There's not, you have to tell the model that sometimes people say y'all, some people say you all, right? And it's important to walk through those steps and be able to obfuscate away all the nitty gritty bits so you come out with something useful to understand, oh, it's helping me do the thing I need to get done. And I get to write the if then statement to say, if you pay this bill, you go this way, or if I need information about the website, I go this way. Oh, I can just write out a little markdown doc that gives me a link to my about page or whatever. And it does it very quickly in anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes from start to finish. Because when you start talking to Watson X, it's more natural for you to do the chatbot lab first, and then you come to the prompt engineering lab, where the chatbot lab will teach you how to do the nuts and bolts and create the workflow, if you will. And then when you come to the prompt engineering lab, you start actually asking the models for very specific questions and get specific answers out. And you learn how to manipulate the different models we have access to be able to ask and figure out that models have different strengths. Unlike our competitors who just have one model and you just talk to it and it just gives you answers back, IBM, we've designed it so you can choose the different models that are focused on very specific things. So you can have a good conversation with it. Or if you give it a bunch of information, it can churn through it better than a conversational one because it has focuses on summarization, for instance, compared to communication. So you learn to be able to discover that models are designed in different ways to be able to focus for the best tool for the job. It is going to be the way that we pull out information from models in certain data sets. What does that mean? Well, remember back in the day when Google was really awesome and you could like write in a really interesting query into Google and find the exact website you were looking for? Prompt engineering is the next generation of this. But instead of talking to Google, we're now talking to our own models and Googles of the world that have limited scopes that you can start having a more natural conversation with. So you start working with it. Let's expand that metaphor just a little bit deeper. It's the best librarian you'll ever have in your life. All those times you went to your high school library or college library asking for that book, and then you had that conversation with the librarian about the research you're doing. Imagine AI as that thing, and prompt engineering is creating that conversation or that prompt to talk to that librarian so they can come back with exactly what you're looking for. To look at prompt engineering as something fun to do, you got to look at it as kind of like doing some archaeological digging and looking for something to find. Because what you'll do is you need to be in this space, right? You write a prompt saying, I'm looking for information to do some water skiing in Tahiti, and what are other things that I can do in Tahiti during this event, or what other things happen in Tahiti during these days? Oh, okay, now I need to scope it down a little bit farther. Oh, turns out there's actually monsoons happening during this time, so maybe I shouldn't do water skiing during this time period. It's very much, it's being a detective, it's being an archaeologist, it's following different paths and trails of where you write out that prompt and then be able to get the information you're eventually looking for. You will also discover, you will start having a scratch pad or a way to save some information of good prompts that you're looking for, and very good generic prompts too. You will discover this very quickly because you'll realize, oh, I need to ask an AI to do this, and I have this data, and I need to do proofreading on this article. Well, this prompt actually made sure that it was very professionally said, or this one was very informal. This prompt that I wrote saying, you should speak like a pirate or whatever, right? And it rewrote my article to sound like a pirate. Well, if I need to do this professional, I need to write a prompt that says you need to write this article in a professional manner using sir and ma'am and trying to get them my next job. So you have a little prompt that has that little blurb inside of it. Does that make sense? Where it's you have a library of prompts that help you work with the starter prompts, if you will, to talk to the AI to give you what you were looking for to begin with. Like with all new tools that change our ecosystem, we need to recognize that AI is not there to make decisions for us. They're there to help augment our decisions. The problem is there's going to be a lot of people out there that are going to just trust the AI to give them exactly what they're looking for. And we're going to dilute a lot of human innovation because they're going to just be lazy. Humans are naturally lazy. We need to be good stewards and responsible and recognize that AI is out there to help churn through information quickly so we can make the decision as human beings. The challenge is we need to tell our next generation that that's the way to do it. Unfortunately, it's not looking like that's happening right now, but that's okay. We can always try to change the direction of this boat. I want to give you permission to recognize that learning this AI stuff is hard. We've had a lot of fun in the cloud space. We've had a lot of fun in the VM space. We had a lot of fun with software as a whole. But that was a very specific group of people who had to get parts of that infrastructure up and running. AI now touches everything in our lives. So I'm giving you permission to recognize that it's confusing, it's hard, and challenging. But if you really do the homework and really learn the power of what it can and can't do, especially at this moment in time, you are not only going to be ahead of the curve, you'll be able to leverage it in ways that are responsible. You can be ahead of the game and be more successful with your day in and day out lives.